Content warning. Tone Deaf is rated explicit for mature content and strong language. Spoilers are in every episode, so if you haven't seen the shows we are reviewing, you can always check back in later with us. We'll be here when you get back.
Welcome to Tone Deaf, a theater nerd's guide for their musically challenged spouse. I'm Kay, a musical theater nerd.
And I am Warren. My wife says I can sing, but I'm still musically challenged. And welcome to this new episode, Tone Deaf.
Oh my god. I love you so much.
I love you.
So, I hope everyone out there is being safe and practicing safe social distancing.
And washing their hands.
Yes, please God, wash your hands.
Cleaning surfaces, coughing into your elbow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like things that you should be doing normally, but it seems like a lot of people don't do these things normally.
Yeah, and taking care of folks who are elderly or immune compromised or have pre-existing conditions, because
like my wife.
Yeah, we
don't kill Kay.
Yeah, this has been scary, because I've had a cough for like the last week and shortness of breath. It feels like an elephant's been sitting on my chest, and I'm just going, oh boy, because we all remember swollen face disease, so...
Yes.
But we still don't know what caused that.
See, maybe you're like Mr. Burns in that episode where he goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, imagine that there's this doorway, and you got all of these viruses and illnesses trying to cram through that doorway at the same time, and they're just stuck. So what you're saying is, I'm completely invulnerable. Oh no! A stiff breeze could... completely invulnerable.
Nah, I'm vulnerable as fuck. But yeah, so just I hope that all of y'all are being safe. Please stay inside, or like just limit your time out and about, because it does protect us that can't fight this off. So
my heart goes out to anybody who is in a societal necessity.
Yeah, those of y'all in the grocery jobs and the hospital jobs and just all these jobs that have been now deemed as essential but are still not getting paid what they should be getting paid. I'm getting very close to just burn down the system.
Yeah.
Over this, because I'm like, If you're gonna say that the people handling our food don't deserve $15 an hour, then shame on you, because they do, and hospital workers deserve way more than what they've been getting, and they've been getting overworked, and it's been overburdening, and it just pisses me off, and yeah.
So, yeah, Kay and I have been social distancing. I think we're going a little bit crazy from news as well as...
Yeah, it's been a little rough, like... The staying inside part isn't the hard part for us, because we're
introverts anyway.
Yeah, and like I mean, this is heaven for me, honestly, not having to go out and about and worry about other people, but just knowing what's going on the outside has me just going, and like one of my friends is a flight attendant and still has to do flights.
Yeah.
And I worry about her every day. I'm just like, oh no.
So I guess the takeaway is be clean, be courteous, and be cautious.
Yeah.
The three C's.
The three C's.
Clean, courteous, cautious.
Yes.
And the courteous part of that is cover your fucking mouth if you're an open-mouth cougher.
And he says that with his middle finger.
Yes, because I went index finger is clean, middle finger is courteous, and then ring finger was cautious, and then put those two down and just left up that middle.
So...
let's hop off our soapbox and...
From one bit of revolution to another. Today we're going to end our accidentally Oz-themed month with a wildly popular musical. And I'm not sure if this is going to be the biggest Broadway Matryoshka doll or not,
What
but
the fuck did you just say?
a Broadway Matryoshka doll? Matryoshka doll?
Matryoshka doll?
Matryoshka, the nesting doll.
Oh, Russian nesting. Okay.
Yeah. I totally mispronounced that, but I'm gonna blame Stir Crazy. I don't know.
Comrade K did very good job pronouncing the Russian word.
So this musical is based on book that was based on movie
We are going to
that
do
was
this
based on a book.
entire episode in the Russian accent. Your dog in crate just sighed.
We absolutely not going to do this entire episode with Russian accent.
Dos Vidonia, comrade.
So Wicked is based on a 1995 book called Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West by Gregory Maguire, which in turn was based on both the 1939 MGM version of Woz and the original book Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Did you say was?
Yes.
Is that just shortened? That's okay. That's,
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. I've
Us
never,
Ozheads.
I've just never heard you say was before. And then I see, and I can't. When I hear an Oz head, I think people who are just way into Ozzy Osbourne.
That's true. Ozians, I guess, is better, even though
See,
we're
and
not
even then,
citizens of Oz.
that still makes me think of Ozzy Osbourne.
There are two kinds of people.
Warren, and then everyone else.
So, Stephen Schwartz, who I adore, composed the music, and he really is the reason that this show exists, and I'll get into that. And then Winnie Holtzman, who did The Wonder Years in My So-Called Life, wrote the book of the musical.
Okay, I'm gonna do my best to try and not showcase as much of my musically challenged. Stephen Schwartz. Mm-hmm. Oh shit. Schwartz and Sondheim. Oh no. Okay. Stephen Schwartz is responsible for Godspell,
Yes.
right? Stephen Sondheim is responsible for Sweeney Todd and Into the Woods.
Yes.
Yes!
And we also covered another Schwartz one, which was Pippin.
Okay.
Yes.
Schwartz, Pippin, and Godspell.
Yes.
Okay.
And so this is another Schwartz musical,
Okay.
and his shows are some of my favorites. Like this one, when we do Children of Eden, holy fuck balls, that show is so musically just, oh! But,
You're so cute when you're excited.
thanks, babe. So, the book of Wicked is not family friendly.
Ah.
The book, which I haven't read the whole thing, but I have read a lot about it, and...
So when you say not family friendly, is it like violence and sexual content?
Oh, yes. There is rape. There is
Jesus.
infidelity. There's a civil war. There's government corruption. So much murder.
So it's a much more adult take on the source material.
Yes. And it's basically like before the source material and then a little bit during it. And,
guess
because
it's
this
true.
is a prequel.
Yeah, that's
basically.
true, because all the Wizard of Oz stuff, Wicked Witch is already wicked. And
Yes.
This is supposed to be how she became to be wicked, right?
Yes, and it is... Whew. So, I haven't read the book, and reading what the source material had, I don't know if I ever will, because it's...
Some trigger stuff?
Yeah, it's brutal. And maybe I'll be able to read it someday, but it's just one of those, like... Oh, like, there's some plot points in the musical that they barely touch on, that in the book, it's, like, heavy as fuck.
The way you're talking about it, it's because some of the content you mentioned made me think about when I was listening to the Game of Thrones books, and I'm just like, boy, this is hard, because there's lots of lots of unkindness towards people in vulnerable situations, and now my brain is like sitting here going, okay, so Wicked is like Game of Thrones meets Wizard of Oz.
Oh man, it's heavy. Like, just from reading about it,
I'm actually kind of intrigued. I wonder if they have it on Audible.
I would be curious to listen to it on Audible, because it might be...
Plug for Audible, sponsor us, because I already give you my money.
Yes. The book, like, there are things. I remember when I remember when Wicked was first coming out as a musical, and there were some folks that I knew who had read the book who were just like, yeah, I would let my kids see the musical, but they absolutely won't read the book until they're much, much older. So it was very interesting. So let's talk about the musical now.
Let's.
So Wicked the Musical went into production in 1998 after Stephen Schwartz had discovered the book and was like, oh my god, I need to make this into a musical. But Maguire had already sold the rights to Universal, who was like, this would make an awesome live-action movie. Which it would. It really would. And Schwartz, being awesome, persuaded not only Maguire, but also Universal that this musical needed to exist.
Oh.
So Universal actually helped out with the musical.
Interesting. I wonder why I never got a movie then.
We're gonna talk about that.
The look on your face was so great. Oh god, and then the frown.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. I'm mad. So, he brought on Winnie Holtzman to write the book and collaborated with Universal's Mark Platt to create an adaptation of the book that was quite a bit different in its scope and focus. Because, see, the book is truly going to be the life and times of Elphaba, whereas the musical focuses more on the friendship of Elphaba and Glinda, which is only part of the book, because Elphaba and Glinda kind of go their separate ways for a bit in the book.
They're all sisters, right? All the witches?
Not in this.
Oh, okay.
Only in some adaptations of Wizard of Oz, and I'm trying to remember if the book goes that route or not, but yeah, it's been a while since I've read all of the Oz books.
Fair enough. You know me, I'm just going to throw out random questions that pop into my squirrel brain.
No worries, I should have prepared for that one. But to quote Schwartz, he said, primarily we were interested in the relationship between Glinda, who becomes Glinda, and Elphaba. The friendship of these two women and how their characters lead them to completely different destinies. So there are so many changes to this. The musical ends downright happy compared to the book. The book does not end on a good note.
Ugh.
Yeah, the musical ends on a better note. So it went into readings in early 2000, and Kristen Chenoweth was brought in very early on to be Glinda/Galinda, and she was actually who Schwartz had in mind for the role from the very beginning. Stephanie J. Block was Elphaba throughout the workshop process, but the role ended up going to Idina Menzel in late 2000. You might remember her from Rent and Frozen.
Yeah,
she
Idina
was Elsa. And Stephanie J. Block actually ended up in The Boys from Oz, which is another musical we'll cover at some point, but that was what kind of led to her not being Elphaba for this, but later she'd end up in the national tour. So
interesting.
Yeah, one of the more iconic songs, What Is This Feeling, is inspired by Nobody's Side from Chess, which is another musical that we'll cover that has one of my favorite songs of all time in it. All right, Joe Mantello was brought in as director, and we'll be talking about him a lot later in later episodes because he is Broadway famous. Wayne Cilento, it's either Cilento, Cilento, or Cilento. Not sure. C's are weird.
Cilento sounds cool.
Cilento sounds cool. He's Cilento now. And we'll probably talk about him when we do Chorus Line was the choreographer. And the Ozian sets were created by Eugene Lee, who took inspiration from the original illustrations of the Oz books by W. W. Denslow. Susan Hilferty is responsible for the twisted Edwardian style, as they call it, of the costumes, and Kenneth Posner was brought in for lighting. By April of 2003, they had a full cast and were ready for the San Francisco tryouts, which ran from June 10th of 2003 to June 29th of 2003 at the Koran Theater in San Francisco. And these went well because Schwartz saw the mixed critical reception of these tryouts and went, okay, this is what I need to fix. Here, I'm going to fix it. Instead of going like, no, it's perfect. He was like, okay, good. I need this criticism. Thank you very much. And that's why Stephen Schwartz is one of my favorites. He made sure that Glinda didn't overshadow Elphaba because reviews had mentioned that that was kind of an issue because Kristen Chenoweth is such a big personality and Glinda takes on this big personality, but she's not the main character, so they kind of had to balance that out a little bit. And then he rewrote parts of the script, he replaced songs, and he made this show into the powerhouse it is today. Now, Schwartz was using leitmotif in this show in ways that weren't really being done in modern musicals at the time.
What's leitmotif?
It's a piece of music that goes like...
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Kind of like how when we were watching Together Forever and Stephen's talking with Connie and you hear the da-da-da-da... That leitmotif that she has.
So leitmotif is...
it.
So, sorry, when you know me, whenever you say it's like this with this music, my brain does not remember that. So... Because you pick out music way better than I do. So, well, let me finish my thoughts.
Sorry.
Because I need to frame it in a way that Warren brain understands. So leitmotif, is that just a reoccurring piece of music that changes depending on the scene?
Kind of, yeah. That's one way of using it. Another, think of... Did you ever see Peter and the Wolf when you were a kid?
The cartoon?
The cartoon as well, or like sometimes they would drag you to the symphony to listen to it, but it's...
I only ever saw the cartoon.
Okay, so the cartoon does do this, because Peter and the Wolf is a classic symphony where each of the characters have their own instrument and their own theme. And so anytime that something happens with the duck, you hear the duck's music, and then if you hear something with the wolf has a certain set of music, and the boy has a certain set of music, the cat, etc. So
is that, so you're saying a certain music and instrument, so it's just one instrument for a character, so when they're all together then you have multiple instruments?
For Peter and the Wolf, yes.
Okay.
But like leitmotif basically is using either an instrument or a piece of music to bring a theme out or bring a character out. And in this case, he used it to kind of bring out some of the themes in this show, and he plays with it in interesting ways. One leitmotif that he has is unlimited, and I'm going to demonstrate it for you.
Okay.
Unlimited, together we're... Now, there's something interesting about that one, so I'm going to sing it again for you, and then I'm going to sing it to the tune that he grabbed it from. Unlimited, together we're... Now, unlimited together. What does that sound like?
Somewhere.
Yes, he grabbed, to quote his joke, where he referenced Over the Rainbow in this motif. He said, according to copyright law, when you get to the 8th note, then people can come in and say, oh, you stole our tune. The 8th note.
So you can rip off 7 notes, but not interesting.
And so, of course, obviously, it's also disguised in that it's completely different rhythmatically, and it's harmonized completely differently. It's over a different chord and so on, but it's still the first 7 notes of Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Interesting.
Yes.
And musical copyrights. Learning new things every day, Warren.
Yes, and most of the time it's in a minor chord, which in the show kind of hides it better. And he does it like once in a major chord, which is where you can kind of go, oh shit, that's Somewhere Over the Rainbow. But my voice did not want to sing.
I would just like to say Kay represented proper coughing etiquette, coughed into her elbow, turned away from me. So let's, everybody, give a round of applause to Kay.
I feel like an elephant's on my chest.
I'm not sitting on you.
Should not. You're not an elephant. You're a Warren. So he also reuses a theme from an earlier musical he worked on as a musical director, which was called The Survival of St. Joan. Now, this is not common for Schwartz because he usually doesn't reuse themes from earlier shows, but he does it here, and He uses it in the overture to make it kind of sound like a giant shadow is terrorizing you, and this is where he's using instruments with the leitmotif. In this time, he's using it very heavy on brass and percussion, which makes it feel more overpowering and domineering. But later, he uses it in As Long As You're Mine with piano and electric bass to become a love song.
Interesting.
And he also uses it as a main theme in No One Mourns the Wicked. Stephen motherfucking Schwartz. Schwartz motherfuckers. I love this dude. He's fucking amazing. Anyway, Wicked started the Broadway previews on October 8th, 2003 at the Gershwin Theater, opening officially on October 30th. It has been there ever since.
Really?
In fact, I think probably this break in productions on Broadway right now is its only break.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It has been going so fucking long. It grabbed Les Mis as it clung tightly to its spot as the 5th longest running musical, and it curb stomped it with its 6,681st performance on October 28th, 2019.
Wow.
In lieu of flowers, Les Mis' surviving family requests bread to be delivered to 55 Rue Clement. I'm sorry.
That was great, though.
Warren also demonstrated proper coughing etiquette. So, notable cast members other than Menzel and Chenoweth are Joel Grey as the Wizard. He was in Cabaret, Pal Joey, Come Blow Your Horn, George M. Okay, maybe you'll remember... I did sneak in that one to see what you would say, but he was really in a show called Come Blow Your Horn, but... You may remember this one.
God, I'm a fucking 12-year-old.
You may remember this one that Joel Grey was in. He was the narrator for the Tom and Jerry movie.
I don't quite remember that movie all that well. It's been quite some time.
I will never forget that movie. As long as I live, scenes from that movie will play in my brain.
I just remember not liking it that much.
It confused me, but I watched it a lot because I was a big Tom and Jerry kid. Anyway.
Well, I was too.
Another person, Norbert Leo Butz. Interesting. I just like the name. Was Fierro, and he was also in one of my personal least favorite shows, last 5 years off Broadway, and he was in your least favorite show that shall not be named that same year.
Lioness was in Carousel?
Mm-hmm. Lioness?
Leo Butts.
Oh my god. God. Jesus. Yep, Leo Butz was in the musical that shall not be named. Norbert Leo Butz. Or Norbert Butz. And he was in
Norbert Leo Butz.
Yes. And he was in the last 5 years, which is one of my least favorite shows.
Oh, was that? I mean, that show wasn't, because sidebar, we went and saw a production of that, because our friend, Cookie was
playing
cello in it, and, I don't know, I didn't not like the show, but, of course, the subject material, gave me feelings.
Yeah, and I don't like having those feelings in my brain.
That's fair.
It's a bad feeling for me, so I just am like, nope, fuck that show. Carol Augusta Shelley was Madame Morrible, and she is fucking amazing. Not only did she create this role, but she was Billy Elliot's grandmother in the original Broadway cast of Billy Elliot in 2008, and this is fucking awesome. So, you know The Odd Couple, right?
Yeah, the classic straight man, funny man thing.
Was a play, then a movie, then a TV show. She is one of only 2 people, the other person being Monica Evans, who played her sister, who was in the stage play, the film, and the TV show.
Nice. That's excellent for her.
Carol motherfucking Shelley. Okay. So, the North American tour ran from 2005 to 2015, and this has been performed in professional theaters in Chicago, LA, and notably for us, the Orpheum Theater in San Francisco. And I say notably for us because guess who played Nessa Rose, aka the Wicked Witch of the East, in this production?
Oh, don't ask me. You know I'm good. I'm just going to take two random names and throw them together.
Who do you think?
Vanessa Smith.
Do you want a hint?
Yeah, I could use 20 hints.
It's a show that we absolutely adore. That
Is it one we've seen live?
No, this is from a cartoon that we absolutely adore.
Okay. Well, then I know it has to do with Steven Universe.
Yes.
Wait. Oh, okay. It's not Patti LuPone.
No.
I don't... Names... Warren. Musically
You love her
challenged.
voice.
I love all of their voices. Dee Dee Magnahall?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
She's in that?
She's been in Wicked.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see her in this version, but I wanted to point that out because Dee Dee just...
Yeah.
I love Dee Dee.
Oh,
I love her so much.
absolutely.
I love her so much.
Absolutely.
I love Pearl. I love her. She's amazing. Anyway, on the West End, the show underwent some changes to adapt it for British audiences, which is a thing that happens sometimes. It notably backfired with Avenue Q when they tried to change Gary Coleman into a different character, thinking that audiences wouldn't know who Gary Coleman was. Guess what? Audiences in the UK do indeed know who Gary Coleman is.
Rest in peace, Gary.
Yep. This show opened in September of 2006 and is the version that I saw. Though I did not see Menzel in it. She was in it just until the new year in 2007. We saw it after New Year's Eve, which is when Carrie Ellis took over the role as the first British woman to ever play Elphaba. But we either saw her or the understudy Cassidy Johnson, but I can definitely say we did not see Idina Menzel when we saw Wicked.
Okay.
So this show's been performed all over the world as well, with international productions being mounted in the UK, Ireland, Canada, Singapore, New Zealand, the Netherlands, Japan, Finland, Germany, Mexico, South Korea, and Brazil.
Wow, I felt like you were doing that Wacko song where he sings all the countries.
United States, Panama, Mexico, Canada, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru. Okay. Anyway. There was supposed to be a live-action film version produced by Universal, with it being announced in 2016.
This is where Kay's...
For a December 2019 release date. Want to know what it got pushed back for?
Really?
Fuck you, cats. Fuck you, cats. Weber, look at me. The rivalry's back on. Weber, look at me. Look at me. Rivalry, back on. Until the Michael Jackson's Glove musical comes on.
Ugh.
Rivalry's back.
There should be, I hate to say this, but there should be laws in place against creative freedom for some things.
So,
if I still had a soul, I would sell it to the devil to get some of these things to not happen.
what did you sell it for last time?
I'm pretty sure I gave it to you.
Aww.
I'm pretty sure I bequeathed it to you because I had no, fortune to offer you anything. I was like, please, pretty black lady, will you marry me? I'll give you my soul.
I love you.
I love you.
So, Wicked will be released as a film on December 22nd, 2021, unless they decide that a Starlight Express movie is more pressing.
No!
Weber. No.
You know, I almost want to write a musical that is just making fun of Andrew Lloyd Webber and all of his musicals. I want to make a Grudge production that is just hate fucking Andrew Lloyd Webber for 2 hours. Just
I mean, Phantom was good, but...
Yeah, still had its share of batshittery nonsense, but...
Oh, God.
Is Phantom the only one of his musicals we've seen where he didn't shove Jesus in for no reason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Cats doesn't have Jesus, but it does have a cat cult. So, I don't know if that's better.
I guess that's fair.
And Joseph didn't have Jesus in it. Yes, it was the Bible, but it was pre-Jesus, so...
I'm still not over Train Jesus.
He's not...
Or Jesus Christ Superstar.
I mean, to be fair... None of his Jesus-y allegories in his shows are religious. It's definitely from a more secular take. However... Don't fuck this up.
Still.
I want my Wicked movie,
Fuck you,
goddammit.
Weber.
I want my fucking Wicked movie.
I think what Kay and I are trying to say is still, fuck you, Weber.
Oh, man. We have fun here. We joke. We joke for the most part. But if a Starlight Express movie preempts Wicked, I'm going to be so fucking mad. So
I'm gonna fly to wherever he lives to take a shit on his front door. Or something.
You'd also have to take it up with Universal, since they were the ones to make the decision of, oh no, we'll just preempt Wicked with the Cats movie. Release the butthole cut, Universal. Anyway, this show has won and been nominated for so many awards that it has its own page on Wikipedia.
Oh, wow.
While it didn't win the Tony for Best Musical, Menzel did nab the Best Actress Tony, and both she and Chenoweth were nominated for it that year. Nice. So, Wicked was probably going to win it either way. It was just, is it Elphaba or is it Glinda? And honestly, this is my favorite role of Menzel's. Absolutely hands down my favorite role of hers, so...
Is the version we're going to see have Menzel?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think that this is
but is it when you listen to it on, say, Spotify or something, is it her?
Yep.
She's a really good
singer.
She
is really good.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah. It did win the Bibi Ferreira Award in Brazil for Best Musical, as well as a lot of BroadwayMusical.com awards, a shit ton. This show just, anytime it goes up for an award, it's I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that.
I bring a basket to carry all my awards home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously, Universal, what the fuck? What the fuck? Don't make this mistake again. Just with I'm so mad. I'm so mad at what we could have had. And I remember that, too, being announced, and I was like, oh, cool. And then, it went away for a minute, because I forgot, because they didn't say anything about it, and then oh, Cats in 2019. And I'm like, oh, okay.
So is it still in the works?
It's still in the works. Okay. It's just pushed to December 22nd, 2021, unless what I said happens, in which case we riot and cry. And
in which case we release the Kraken and level this fucking planet.
Or we end up having a series of episodes just like with the Cats movie, where we cover the trailers and go, what the fuck is this nightmare? Why?
That is also a possibility.
For the good of the podcast, I would say that a Starlight Express movie would get us a lot of listens. Because fuck that show.
My liver
on the other hand,
my liver can't take another Cats movie.
I will say, though, that if the Starlight Express movie does become a thing, we have to move to Colorado to fully enjoy it.
Or at least minimize it. Minimize its negative impact upon our psyches.
Oh, God. Man.
Anyway,
back to Wicked. Are you ready to watch Wicked?
I am very ready to watch Wicked. This is one of those shows that before we started doing our show, I never really looked forward or had a desire to see a lot of shows because, musically challenged and all that. But since we've been doing stuff, I've been waiting to get to Wicked because I've heard that it's really good, and I know,
Yeah.
a lot of just the love surrounding it. And it is funny you talking about how this, because March is coming off the heels of Black History Month, and since in this year we're going to be revisiting stuff that I have seen,
Yeah.
but with my less unsophisticated filter, and so it is kind of funny how the month of March has been unintentional Wizard of Oz month. But,
Yep.
hey,
Save for Les Mis once, but
yes, that was true when reviewing a high school production. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I am ready and excited to go watch Wicked.
yay! I'm so excited because it's been a while since I've seen it, and I like this show. So yeah, let's take a brief intermission, let Latte out, and go see Wicked.
Yay!
Hey Warren,
Hey, Kay.
do you know what time it is?
Is it time to thank our favorite people in the whole world?
Heck yeah! Today, we would like to thank our stage crew sponsor, Jasmine Wu.
And our producer circle sponsors, Bianucci, Reagan, and Taylor Brandt.
Thank you all so much for your support of our show.
We truly appreciate it.
Boston Harbor Horror is about a Coast Guard member who discovers an ancient artifact during a rescue on one of the many islands located deep in Boston Harbor. His subsequent research into that artifact leads him down a dark path that will test his sanity, his relationships, the very reality in which he resides. Boston Harbor Horror is an Asylum 94 production. You can find our show wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at Boston HBR Horror and Asylum 94 PROD. Like us on Facebook at Boston Harbor Horror and Asylum 94. Follow us on Instagram at Boston Harbor Horror and Asylum 94.
And now, the lights are going down and the music's starting back up, so let's head back to the second act of our show. So Warren, who can say if you've been changed for the better? But because you saw this, have you been changed for good?
Nobody warns the mourns the Warren. That's what I was trying to say. Warns the Morin. See, you set it up, and then I fucked it up.
It's okay, because I went a little off key, because my throat went, really? Really, Kay? You've been coughing for like a week straight. You think you can sing?
But I will say, wait, there are dragons in Oz?
There are dragons in Oz.
There are dragons in Oz?
Yes.
How come we have never seen dragons in any of the Oz shit? This is a huge failing on every single representation of Oz. If I had known that there were dragons in Oz, I probably would have been way more interested in Oz growing up.
Yeah, and the dragon that is up there is the time dragon. Which...
So is it a real dragon or is it just a machine? Because, I mean, of course, in the show, it's just a giant puppet.
Yeah.
But it's hanging on top of a giant clock.
Yeah. Alright, so basically, the dragon that's up there is the clock of the time dragon, and it was supposed to be a device that could tell people the secrets in their life, and that itself is a invention for the Wicked books. That one's not an actual dragon, that one is a clock. But there are dragons in Oz. Like, they're just not, like, many, but, like,
Are they like beasts or can they talk?
I believe they can talk.
Because it seems like everything in this universe can talk.
Yeah, and I want to say that they're, like, later in the Oz books, like TikTok of Oz and stuff, that you get dragons, but... Yeah, there are dragons in Oz, they're just not really, you know...
I want more dragons in my Broadway shows.
But yeah, no, the clock of the time dragon is just for Wicked and
Gotcha.
those books.
Well, yeah, like in my note it says, wait, there are dragons in Oz? Why have I never seen this before? I am way more excited in Oz now. Oh, wait. The dragon is gone. Never mind, everyone. It was a tease. Wicked teased me with the D. I got dragon teased. Thanks, Wicked. Anyways. A group of Victorian-esque people come out from a giant... I didn't spell clock right.
Holy shit, no! Oh god. Oh god, did you forget the L?
I think so. So
oh my god.
So a group of Victorian-esque people come out from a giant clock and say, "Good news!" and dance around while waving their ribbon wands. And they get very excited about Glenda showing up to announce that the Wicked Witch of the West is dead, murdered by a child who threw a bucket of water on her.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately for her, the Wicked Witch of the West, no one mourns the wicked. Be an entirely different musical if a bunch of people came out of a giant cock. But it'd be like a rooster, right? Big mechanical rooster. If the Greeks had used a rooster, would it have been a Trojan cock or something like that?
Oh my god.
There's an alternate universe out there that is way better than this one. Oh Glenda lands and everyone bows and scrapes before her while singing about the mean green being liquefied. A child, I think, inquires to Glenda, "Why is there wickedness?" Glenda is like, "'Tis a question as old as time. Why are people wicked? Are they born wicked? Do they become wicked? After all, Elphaba had a mother and a father and... You know, this is a musical, so we won't just tell it, we'll show it and sing it." We see Elphaba's mother wipe a kiss off her cheek from her husband as he leaves the house. I'm sure they have a very happy and stable marriage. And she immediately hops in the sack with a dapper gent who has a green elixir. Bitches love green elixirs, I guess?
That's so much more tame than what happens in the book.
Anyways, 9 or so months pass, and Elphaba's mother is about to give birth to her. And lo and behold, she's green! Which goes to show that drinking strange elixirs while pregnant can have dire consequences on the developing fetus. Yes? You're not supposed to touch your face right now, Kay.
I know, but I had to.
You now have corona.
I know. So, it's the Ozian form of thalidomide poisoning. Well, I guess that's more what happens to her sister. Spoilers, but... Which in the book, it's not her legs for her sister.
What is it?
It's her arms.
I feel like the legs works better given the magic shoes.
Yeah.
But anyway... The scene cuts back to Glenda and her horde of adoring fans as they continue to sing about how no one mourns the wicked, even though this show is going to make us feel bad for Elphaba by the end of it. Glenda begins to ascend off stage when one of her thralls inquires, "Is it true you were friends with the wicked one?" Glenda spills the rumor beans and admits that they were friends a long time ago at their shiz school. Even back then, Glenda was a popular valley girl, and Elphaba was still green. Elphaba is being gawked at, and is like, "Let's get this out of the way. No, I'm not seasick. Yes, I've always been green. No, I didn't eat grass as a child. And yes, you can all go fuck yourselves." I made that last one up, but she was probably still thinking it. Elphaba is yelled at by her father, and I use that in air quotes, her father, who tells her to be quiet and stop making a scene, and that she's only here to look after her sister Nessa Rose, who is a perfectly normal color, but in a wheelchair. So, there's that. The head shizstress of the shiz school tries to take Nessa Rose up to her private dorm suite, because, she's the she's going to inherit the governorship, so she's more important than the other one, and so she gets special privileges because of her pedigree and whatnot. But Elphaba is like, I promised our dick father that I'd watch after her, and Shiztris tells her that there are not extra rooms, and mistakenly thinks that Glenda volunteers to room with Elphaba. Nessa Rose is wheeled away to her special room, and Elphaba casts an accidental spell out of anger, and everyone freaks out, except for the head Shiztris, who is like, you have magic powers! I will teach you, and you will be great, and by association, I will be great.
Shiztris.
Isn't that what she calls herself? The head
I think
Shiztris?
so, yeah. And I just, the things that they say in this.
Yeah, there's a lot of wackiness to be had.
Because it's Oz. It's fucking Oz. Like, this show, Seussical, they're all wild. This one just has more death.
Yep, fair. Glenda, being the spoiled brat she is, faints from not getting her way, and Elphaba has her self-empowerment song, being all super hyped that she has a talent that someone values, and that she sees it as her chance to be successful and meet the wizard, who will de-green her once he gives her an honored position. And one day, everyone in Oz will celebrate her, and she'll be so happy she could melt. Nice,
the look you just gave me.
Nice touch and foreshadowing there.
Yep.
Glenda and Elphaba sing while writing letters to their fathers, saying that there has been a mix-up with the rooms at the Shiz school, and they'll deal with it the best they can, because they're so classy, even though they really fucking hate each other. And then they proceed to sing the loathing song, and it sucks, because everyone dislikes Elphaba just for being green, and loves Glenda for being hot.
It's not easy being green.
Yeah, Glenda is just everything I hate. She's a shallow, vain, vapid, entitled, self-important, and Elphaba is like, I have a dream to be loved and to be liked for just being me. And it seems that Elphaba versus Glenda and her entire horde of adoring sheeple thralls. First... There's so much more meaning to stuff.
Was it too soon for me to do that?
No, like, because I was writing these before I realized that there were, like, anthropomorphized, sentient, walking, talking animal people in this world. Mm-hmm. First day of class, and with Dr. was it Dillamond?
Yep, Dillamond.
With Dr. Dillamond, who is a goat man, and old token goat man, a diversity hire, it would seem. Glenda is huffy about why Dr. Dillamond can't pronounce her name. Because he tries to be like, Glenda. No, it was more like a...
Yeah.
Glenda.
Yep.
And she's huffy.
Instead of Galinda.
Galinda. He tries to give a history lesson about how Oz used to be a more diverse and colorful place, but there was a drought that caused a famine, and everyone decided to blame the animals, hence, scapegoat. Galinda is like, why can't you teach us history without harping on the past? People with brains facepalm, and Professor Scapegoat flips the chalkboard, which is supposed to have some questions he's prepared, but instead has written in big red letters, animals should be seen, not heard. He gets understandably upset and angrily asks who wrote this. When no one comes forth, he dismisses the class and chases his students out of his classroom. Elphaba stays behind to talk to the professor and share her lunch with him. And he recounts us with how animals and those who are being... And he recounts us with how animals and those who are different are facing an increasingly hard time here in Oz. Animals are encouraged to keep quiet, and some have even forgotten how to speak, and are becoming just beasts. The head Shiztris comes in to be like, Elphaba, you're late for my seminar, and because of how Professor Dillagoat is behaving, it's obvious I'm one of the corrupt people in this story. So the Shiztris comes in to be like, oh, I heard that there was some hubbub in your class, and you immediately see the professor's demeanor change, and he becomes, like, deflective. He's not really paying attention. He's very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? He's very defensive
Yeah.
kind of thing. He's like, you can very much tell that he is intimidated and afraid of this woman.
Yeah.
So you're immediately like, oh, she's one of the people who doesn't like animals being on campus.
One of my favorite touches, though, is when Elphaba's sharing her lunch and he eats the paper.
She like comes over, unfolds her lunch, and she has like a sandwich, and he just grabs the paper and starts eating the paper. I thought it was pretty good. The driver of a preppy rich boy almost runs over Elphaba, and she gives him a piece of her mind. But he doesn't care, because he's the male Glenda. His name is Fiyero?
Yes, Fiyero.
Fiyero. A winky prince. And I feel like knocking him in his one-eyed wonder weasel. Glenda pretty much throws her southern region at Fiyero, who is like, I missed my class, but whatever, I'm just here for the party life, and proceeds to sing about how he doesn't give a shit because he's dancing his way through life.
I want your Winky in my bubble.
God damn it. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, where am I? I'm here for the party life, and proceeds to sing about how he doesn't give a shit because he's dancing his way through life and has no concerns because he's the crotch spawn of royalty and is already set for life. I may have taken some liberties with the lyrics, but that's the subtext in my opinion. But yeah, fuck Fiyero. Granted, he gets better later, but right now at this point in time, fuck both Fiyero and Glenda.
Yeah.
Glenda manipulates Bach, who has been hanging around begging for her attention, but obviously not getting the hint that she doesn't like him. Anyway, Glenda manipulates Bach into inviting Nessa Rose to Fiero's fancy rich shindig, and Nessa Rose thinks that Bach actually likes her, instead of trying to get in Glenda's good graces. Elphaba is about to get mad, but Nessa is like, don't you dare! I love Glenda. She's wonderful, and told Bach to ask me out. Glenda is the best. Glenda for life. Elphaba is like, okay, I'll keep silent and let the plot play out. Eventually, you'll realize Glenda sucks. While getting ready for the party, Glenda is getting dressed and finds this ugly hat that her grandma gave her. She'd give it away if she could, but she doesn't hate anyone enough to give it to them. It doesn't hate anyone enough to do that. And her bitchy friends are like, yes you do. Giggle, giggle, giggle.
God, I hate them.
And Glenda gives the pointy black hat to Elphaba, saying that it compliments her. Elphaba thinks that Glenda is being nice and doesn't see the hidden insult. Elphaba tries to return the favor by telling the head shizstress to give Glenda a wand and to include her in the sorcery classes, or she'll quit. The head shizstress is like, I don't know why, because I don't think you have what it takes to be a sorceress. Glenda finally got what she wanted and feels bad for being such a bitch, especially when Elphaba shows up in the hat gifted to her by Glenda, and everyone is like, boy, she's ugly and she can't dance. Glenda feels bad because it's her fault, and she tries to dance with Elphaba so that people don't make fun of her or something.
Yeah.
The two of them dance awkwardly, and then Glenda pulls Elphaba off the dance floor and out of the scene. We then see Elphaba and Glenda in their room being newly minted besties and sharing secrets. Glenda tells Elphaba that her secret is her and Fiyero are going to get married, even though he hasn't said anything about it, and she's just willing it into existence. Elphaba reveals the reason why her father hates her, because she thinks it's her fault that her sister is in a wheelchair and that her mother is dead, since to prevent her little sister from coming out green, her father made their mother chew milk flour day and night to, I guess, make Nessa Rose white? Okay?
Basically, like, because her mother's not going to say, I cheated
on you and drank a mysterious elixir with some guy, and that's why it's green. But I just don't get, like, the milk flour. Like, what is it, the chewing the milk flour?
Oz logic, and also like begets like.
And yeah, I have it in here.
I have it in here. To make what will it do? Make Nessa Rose white? Is this the pretzel logic? Anyways, the milk flower made Nessa Rose be born prematurely, and her legs were a tangled mess as a result. And the mother never woke up. So, good job, shitty father husband. You'd rather have a crippled daughter and a dead wife than 2 healthy green daughters.
And relying on the goop of Oz.
Oh God, yep. Yep.
Chew this poisonous flower and it'll flush out the negative toxins in your body and you'll have a
the
healthy
jade
baby.
egg that you stuck up there.
Then light this vagina candle.
Anyways, Glenda is actually cool and tries to reassure Elphaba that it's not her fault. And now that they're besties, she's going to give Elfie, that's what they call her now, a makeover and make her popular. 'Cause that's all there is to life. I wouldn't know. I've never been popular. # loner life.
Same.
Elfie's song ends, and the head Shizdris finds Elfie to say that the wizard wants to see her. Elfie is super happy and hugs the Shizdris, who apparently has the specialty of weather power. Neat! I like Storm from the X-Men better, because she's not a bitch.
And that's totally not going to play into anything later.
Well, it's like because she comes in and she's like, "Oh, I felt just terrible about what happened with Dr. Dillamond and kind of thing." But something she basically makes that whole thing of like whenever a door closes, a window opens, or something like that, and she's like, "Something bad happened, but something good happened."
Whenever someone says shit like that, I kind of side eye it like. What you trying to sell?
Well, like when someone that you admire is hauled away by the authorities to be sent to prison just for existing, something good is bound to happen. Anyways, Elfie is bidding her friends and her sister goodbye, and Bach. So they're at the train station, like some type of train station or something like that. They're at a place, and Elfie is telling people goodbye because she's going to the Emerald City to see the wizard, and so she's leaving the Shiz school. And so Elfie is bidding her friends and sister goodbye, and Bach freaks out, saying he can't keep doing this, 'cause, yeah, I imagine it would be hard to pretend to like someone who you have... pretend to like someone when you have a boner for a shallow blonde bimbo. Nessa Rose wheels off upset, telling Elfie not to worry about her, and Glenda and Elfie both inquire where Fiyero is. Glenda reveals that she's worried about Fiyero because he's distant and moody and he's been thinking. She's really worried about how much thinking he's been doing. Fiyero shows up to give a flower to Elfie and wish her the best of luck in her new adventure. The two exchange some sparks, and referencing the day with the lion cub. And even though Glenda tries to make it all about her, Fiyero bids Elfie a final goodbye and good luck, and leaves. Glenda is upset, and Elfie tells her to come with her to the Emerald City to see the wizard, to which she agrees. And I kind of wonder how she was able to swing that. It's like, I have an invitation to see the wizard, but you don't, but I'm going to bring you with anyway, and I'm sure it'll work out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand Oz law or Oz politics necessarily. I mean,
a guy who just fell from the sky in a hot air balloon became emperor.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think you can get away with just about anything there.
Might makes right in Oz.
Mm-hmm.
Makes kind of it's the law of the land everywhere, it seems. Anyway, the magical besties go to the Ozmopolitan. The magical besties
Goddamn.
go on to be Ozmopolitans in the Emerald City, and I see a fucking horrific thing. These fat, armless, bald creature things with human faces that have stretchy snake necks. What the fuck were those, Kay?
Yes.
They came, they horrified me, and just as quickly as I shit myself, they left. I need to kill the brain cells that house these.
Those are in the book. Those are called Hammerheads.
What?
Yeah, they're Hammerheads. So they're like these little dudes that didn't have arms, and they have like these flat heads, and if I remember right, let me see. I think they're the ones that have to carry their brains in jars, but
I mean, like, they were horrifying looking. Like, they had, like, this massive beach ball body.
Yeah.
And just legs protruding from it. They wore overalls. And then they had these big heads, and they had
that weird kind of hair where, like, you're bald on top, but you have, like, big poofy hair on the sides.
Yes.
And then when their necks stretched out, my eyes went to hell.
Yeah, your eyes do kind of go to hell looking at them, but...
I'm like, so wait. Oz is concerned about animals, but these fucking things are okay?
Well, I mean, they're humanoids, so...
So are the animals.
Well,
They're upright and walking and talking.
In the Wicked book, they are animals.
Just talking animals,
Just talking animals, because
Still,
that's an Oz thing.
That's better than these armless monstrosities.
Yeah,
I mean,
there you go. There's the Hammerheads.
I don't like them.
Yeah. Look at that picture.
I don't... Oh, geez. And so they headbutt their foes.
Yes.
They extend their neck and skull bash, and it's a picture of them skull bashing the Scarecrow.
And they are quite unfriendly and hostile and violent.
But they have these painted-on smiles. They're so happy to meet you so they can wreck your ship.
And there's the picture of them from Wicked.
So fucked up.
Yeah, and that's in the
God,
book.
they're creepy.
That's in the book.
I don't like them. Can we round them up and put them in jail instead of the animals?
I mean, they're more aggressive.
Are they like the wizard shock troops? Is that what they're used for?
No,
They just-
they're actually in Quadling country, so they're after they leave Oz, or after they leave the Emerald City, after they leave the Wizard of Oz, then they go down to Quadling country to go talk to Glinda, and they run into them.
I still need to kill the brain cells that house the memory of those things.
Okay.
Elfie and Glinda go before the wizard, and he's a sentimental man who wants to help people. And by help people, he means manipulate them and use Elfie as a tool to enforce his authoritarian will. Shiztris shows up. That's her new name now, is Shiztris. Shiztris shows up and is now the press secretary for the wizard. They present Elfie with a book of spells that is written in a dead language, but Elfie, being the badass motherfucker that she is able to read it, and magically gives the monkeys flying wings. Gives the monkeys wings and turns them into flying monkeys. That's how that should have been said. The wizard reveals that they're going to use the monkeys as spies to report on any subversive animal behavior in the land of Oz. Elfie calls the wizard on his shit, saying, "You need me because you have no real power yourself." The wizard is like, "Yeah, pretty much. But where I come from, the best way to unite people is with a common enemy. In this case, talking animals, I guess, which... I hate this world, because if I could be friends with animals that could talk, that would be the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
That's like every little kid's dream, isn't it? Wishing you could talk to animals, and then some of us never grow up inside, and we carry that with us into our adulthood, and we're like, look at our dogs and cats and go, I wish I could talk to you.
And some of us get parrots.
And get parrots who have...
And then go, oh God, you're a very intelligent being. You understand what you're saying. Oh no, I have a 3-year-old forever. Oh God, no.
And they have knives for faces.
Yep.
And they lure you in by pretending that they give kisses, and they bite you on the lips.
I will apologize right now posthumously for Gemma.
Gemma was a sweetie, except for
She
that
was
time.
a sweetie except for that one time.
Except for that time she bit me in the face and made me bleed. She's like, yes, come over here, Warren. I gave everybody else a kiss. I'll give you a kiss too.
I mean, she kind of forgave you when we went out of town, but that was only because...
It's because I was keeping her alive.
Yes.
Fickle bitch.
Little old lady.
Oh, she's a sweet bird, though.
Little grumpy lady.
Okay, tangent aside. Anyways, Elfie runs off with the book and Glinda follows, all while the wizard and Shiztris rage and wail that they must be stopped if they won't conform to their evil plot. Elfie and Glinda are on the street when over the Ozacom, the Shiztris is like, Oz! There is a new worse enemy in Oz. She is not to be trusted. Her green skin is horrible and awful and a manifestation of how evil and awful she is. Glinda is like, it's okay, Elfie. Just apologize to the wizard. There's nothing to be afraid of. Elfie is like, damn right, they should be afraid of me. I'm gonna burn this bitch to the ground. And she proceeds to start a revolution. The guards are closing in on Elfie and Glinda, and Elfie casts a spell and summons a magical flying broom. Elfie tries to encourage Glenda to come with her, but she's like,
I can't. I'm pretty and popular and I want to stay.
as the guards close in, Elfie mounts her broom, giggity, and is like, it's me you want! Leave Glenda alone! And there's some plot things in this that I don't like.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah. Elfie sings her badass song about defying gravity, and the scene ends, and I think it's the intermission at that
Yes.
point. That song, Gravity, was probably
Defying Gravity.
Defying Gravity was one of the better, like, not, I shouldn't say better, that makes it sound like all the songs in this are bad, because the score in this is really good. But
Schwartz, motherfuckers.
Yeah, Schwartz. But that is one of the songs that I think stands out the most, because it's kind of coming off the heels of this big revelation, you know, that the wizard is a phony and that he's this authoritarian dictator who wants to lock up citizens of Oz, and he's using Elphaba as a tool because she actually has magic powers and stuff like that. And Elphaba, I would almost, it's kind of a transformation moment for her.
Yes.
Because it's where she goes from being someone who's been more timid and beaten down to being, like, for the first time, she knows what she wants to do. She's like, I have a mission. I am going to free these animals. I'm going to
take down this government.
I'm going to take down this authoritarian regime.
Now, there's a reason that this song is so insanely popular. Like, it's good.
It's a good song.
In better singing days, I could try to belt that out, and it wouldn't sound great, but I would try.
It's okay.
But
you can sip your tea for your sore throat.
oh God, this is just stupid.
Part 2 opens up with the citizens of Oz crying out for someone to save them from the Wicked Witch. Glenda is like,
Let's not focus on Elfie. We should be celebrating. Fiero has been promoted to captain of the guard, and he's going to marry me.
to which Fiero is like, say what? Glenda has duped him into being in an engagement party that Fiero was not even aware they were at. Surprise, Fiero, you're engaged to Glenda, even though it's obvious you love Elfie, because you became captain of the guard to keep looking for her. I'm sure that won't lead to a conflict between you and Glenda later. Speaking of which, Fiero gets upset at all of the mean stuff people are saying about Elfie, that she has a third eye, that she sheds her skin like a snake, that she's so filthy and evil that pure water will melt her. Glenda tries to calm Fiero down, saying that she doesn't like what people are saying about Elfie either, but Fiero calls her on her shit. Glenda tries to play it off for the public like,
Yeah, you go get me a drink, sweetie. I'll keep talking to the masses and reassuring them just how happy I am to be dubbed Glenda the Good.
Glenda, she's
an interesting character.
She is an interesting character, and I really, really, really don't like her through about 95% of this. Mm-hmm. She is funny, and she is probably the biggest comic relief in the show.
Yes.
And most of her comic relief moments come from being kind of ditzy and self-centered. Mm-hmm. So, like, in some of these serious moments, she'll, like, make it about her, you know?
Yeah.
And she does have her moments, but really just I don't...
Really, she's like this microcosm of everything that we hated in high school.
Ding, 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 ding. Tell her what they won, Johnny! I didn't think this far ahead. You get a kiss.
Yay!
The scene now changes to Nessa Rose, who appears to be the governess of Munchkinland, and Bach is her faithful/reluctant servant. Elfie scares Nessa by coming out of her wardrobe, and she says she needs... coming out of the closet. I was gonna put that joke in there, but then I was like, well, doesn't really necessarily work. But, so, like,
she's coming out of the closet as a Wicked Witch of the West.
Yes, there you go. So she comes out of the wardrobe, and she scares Nessa. She says that she needs their father's help, but their father died of shame after what Elfie did. Elfie is like, good, our father was an ass. Now it's just you and I, and you can help me, Nessa. Nessa Rose is like, No, I don't want to help you. You've been flying around helping strange animals, and you've never once tried to help me. Elfie is like, there is not a spell for every... Holy shit, you have shoes. I have a spell for shoes. Elfie then enchants Nessa's silver shoes and turns them... and uses magic to turn them ruby red. And Nessa now can walk. Nessa thinks that now that she can finally walk, Bach will finally love her. She calls him in, and Bach sees Elfie and pulls a knife. Stay back, or I'll cut you. You're a bad person, same as your sister. Nessa Rose is like, Bach, please, I'm not evil. Bach reveals that ever since Nessa Rose became governess, she has been stripping the rights of the Munchkins. And Bach has not been able to leave, because Nessa wants to keep him there.
Yeah.
Nessa shows Bach that, Nessa tells Bach that now things can be different, because now she can walk. Bach is like, this is wonderful! Now that you can walk, you won't need me anymore, and you won't mind if I leave. Glenda's getting married, and I have to go tell her how I feel, and beg her to love me and not Fierro, because Glenda seized my heart from the moment that I saw her, and I can't love anyone else but her. To which Nessa Rose seethes with rage and is like, if I can't have your heart, no one will! And she grabs the book from Elfie and reads a random spell, just a random spell.
Pick one out of the fucking book.
Didn't think this through at all. And she reads a random spell from Elfie's book, and Bach cries in pain as his heart is shrinking in his chest. Nessa begs Elfie to help, because she immediately has spell remorse. Mm-hmm. And Nessa begs Elfie to help, and Elfie is like... Oh, wait, sorry. Nessa begs Elfie to help, but she tells her that spells can't be reversed once they've been cast. Mm-hmm. Nessa gets upset Elfie isn't helping, and Elfie is like, I've done everything I can to help you, and it's never enough! And she storms out. Nessa Rose is upset, but she suddenly hears Bach coming back to life. She looks in the mirror, making sure that she's all pretty, and whatnot. But Bach steps out with clankety-clank of his steps, and it turns out he's been turned into tin. Mm-hmm. Bach freaks out and runs off, and Nessa Rose throws Elfie under the metaphorical bus, screaming after Bach, shrieking that it was Elfie's fault. She cast the spell. She did it. She did it. She
Throws her
did
under
it.
the house.
Throws her under the house.
I'm sorry.
No, that's pretty good. But yeah, so like... Elphaba shows up to be like, I need your help, sister. And she's like, no, go to hell. You haven't done anything for me. And she's like, there's nothing I can do for you. Oh, wait, I can enchant your shoes. That'll help. And that part made me laugh, though. She's like, there's not a spell for every situation. Oh, that's right. You have shoes. I forget that people wear shoes and I can enchant shoes.
Yeah, and I think in the book it's Glinda that enchants Nessa Rose's shoes, but I'm not sure. Again, I'm going off of plot summaries and stuff because I haven't read the book because I is too fragile. It's raining outside.
Oh, I was wondering. I was like, is that your... What's making that crackling noise?
March came in like a lion and is going out like a lion.
That's
complete with earthquakes.
It's a little bit of whimpering. We didn't have another one, did we?
We had another aftershock,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, it's not an earthquake. It's an aftershock. That's why they're called different things.
Still, though.
Elfie goes back to the Emerald City to free the monkeys she magically gave wings to, and is confronted by the wizard, who is like, I knew you'd be back. Elfie is like, I'm not here for you, I'm here for the monkeys. The wizard is like, aren't you tired of being the responsible one and caring for others? You could have all the power here and rule over Oz. It's wonderful to have power. Power and control. Unlimited power! It's kind of a Star Wars reference.
Yeah.
Except I turned my phone sideways and now I lost my notes.
Well, what did we learn?
Lou, 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 I lost some notes. Lou, 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 hold on you. Lou, Lou, Lou. Get back to my notes and Lou, Lou, Lou. The wizard is almost able to convince Elfie to join him, but her condition
for joining him was that he had to free the monkeys. The wizard agrees and goes to release them, but out pops Professor Scapegoat, who has been held captive in order to keep him from speaking out about animal rights. As a result of his imprisonment, he's reverted to almost entirely an animal mindset. He can't talk, he can only bleat. Elfie is enraged and prepares to strike at the wizard, who dashes behind his mechanical head and calls for his guards. 3 guards enter the wizard's chamber, and to Elfie's surprise, one of them is Fiyero, brandishing a rifle.
I do have to say, I don't know what's worse for Dr. Dillamond, if his fate in the book is worse or his fate in the play is worse, because both are pretty bad.
I assume that in the book, he's just killed.
Yeah, he's murdered while he's working on a way to reverse this with Elphaba, and then he gets murdered, and Elphaba continues his work after
I would
he dies.
say imprisonment and having your mind shattered is probably worse than just death.
Yeah. They're both horrible.
They're both horrible. They're both horrible.
I guess at least they didn't go, oh, here's dinner. Here's some goat.
Elphaba, it's so good to see you. Can I interest you in this goat curry?
Oh, Dr. Dillamond. Oh my god, if we ever get a goat, that's what his name's gonna be. Continue.
Fiyero tells the other 2 guards to go get water, as much as they can carry, and the other 2 guards follow orders and leave the scene. Fiyero then goes behind the mechanical head and pulls the wizard out from behind, telling him to be silent or he'll reveal what a fraud he is. Glenda the Good comes into the chamber as well and is like,
Please, Mr. Wizard, don't be mad at Fiyero.
but Fiyero is like, no, I'm going with Elfie. I love her. Glenda is super sad as Fiyero and Elfie rush off to the stage. And it was funny because she had this thing of like, you've been doing this behind my back. And Elfie's like, no, we haven't. And then he's like, well, a little. And which I was like, you're moron. Because I was like, they didn't do anything.
Yeah, they didn't do nothing.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think, he kissed her and then she kissed him back. Mm-hmm. And that happened once.
Yeah.
And then they were apart for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then, so it's like, so it's one of those things of like, it's not like they were doing stuff behind Glenda's back.
Yeah.
At the same time, Glenda's, well, anyway, I'm devoting too much mental energy to the love triangle in this show.
The love triangle's weird, worse in the book, too. And it's not with Glenda, it's with some princess. But yeah, fun things.
After Fiyero and Elfie leave the scene, the shitstress comes out all excited, thinking that they finally caught Elfie. The wizard is like, nope, Fiyero left with her, they're both gone. The shitstress and the wizard are like, how do we get back at her? Glenda tells them to use her sister. If Elfie thinks her sister is in danger, she'll fly to her aid. The shitstress and the wizard think that's a great idea, but the shitstress is like, maybe we need a change of scenery, and uses her weather powers to cause a tornado. Perhaps the tornado that brings a certain little girl from Kansas to Oz. Just speculating.
Randomly.
Anyways, Elfie and Fiyero are like about to bone down, it seems. They're having a romantic moment and getting ready to smoochy face while singing about how they're going to be together, at least for this moment. The song ends and Elfie says, for the first time in my life, I feel wicked. And she grabs Fiero's face and smooches the fuck out of it.
Gonna smooch your fucking face.
After the smoochy time ends, Elfie feels a disturbance in the Force, and she knows that her sister is in danger. She sees a house flying through the sky and is like, that ain't right, and tells Fiyero she's going to help her sister. Fiyero is like, my family has a castle that no one goes to. You can live there. It's full of secret passages. You'll be safe. The only people who stay there are the guards that protect it. That actually was a kind of a funny line, because he's saying, my family has this castle, and, blah, 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 and no one goes there. Only people who are there are the guards, and secret passages, and you'll be safe. And she goes, well, where does your family live? The other castle.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which that made me laugh. But Elfie goes to Nessa, but we see Glenda the Good as she has just bid Dorothy
to stay on the yellow brick road, then laments about how bad she is at giving directions. Elfie yells at Glinda, saying that she wanted something to remember her sister by, and all that was left was her shoes, but that little foreign farm girl has them. Elfie and Glinda have a spat about man-stealing, and the two have a brief brawl, but not too long until the wizard's guards spring their trap and capture Elfie. Fiyero swings in to save the day, saying to release Elfie, or they'll have to explain to the wizard how they stood by while Glinda the Good was killed, and then he points his rifle at Glinda's face. Glinda gets the guards to release Elfie, and Fiyero hands her the flying broom and tells her to go. Elfie does, and the guards then dogpile on Fiyero, preparing to skewer him with their spears, but are stopped by Glinda. Instead, the guards decide to hang Fiyero up in the field until he tells them where the witch has gone, all while Glinda shrieks in protest. And then that's when It is interesting in this show to see, you know, at least in this imagining, how the Tin Man is created, how the Scarecrow is created, and
the Cowardly Lion
is created and stuff, and it really, if you were to, like, when you plop Dorothy down in this situation and have her go on her normal journey, it's a really fucked up situation for this little girl. Like way beyond the normal amounts of fucked up it is for Dorothy in this situation. It is like you're plopping this 5-year-old down in the middle of some Game of Thrones revolution bullshit, you know, full of angry mobs. And she's just like, I just want to go home.
I was just in my house. What's great, though, is some of the foreshadowing that they do in the show. Like, right at the start when we first see Fiyero, he's very vapid and stuff.
He's the male Glinda.
Yeah, and saying, like, oh, life is painless when you're brainless, and it's like...
Schwartz. It was funny, it was one of those things, because I didn't realize that he was going to become the Scarecrow until they put him up in the field, and then I was like, oh, so he becomes Scarecrow. Yeah. The scene changes to Elfie, who is like, fuck you all, everyone calls me wicked. If you think I'm wicked, then I'm gonna be fucking wicked as I can wickedest wicked be.
And that's after she casts the spell that basically turns Fiyero into the Scarecrow.
She did that?
Yes, because she's saying, like, oh, may your bones never break, may your...
When does she do that?
It's right at that scene change where she's hovering over her book and she's trying to do spells, and she's like, these aren't even working, I don't know what I'm saying.
And so this is after she leaves, after Fiyero rescues her and says, you gotta go.
Yes, okay. And that's what kind of leads to her sanity slippage, where she goes, fine, fuck it, I'm wicked.
Okay, and I fucked up my note. So in that scene, when she's reading her book, she's first casting a spell to, like, protect Fiyero.
Yeah.
And that's what turns him into the Scarecrow. Mm-hmm. Okay, I missed that part. But then she's like, fuck you all. Fuck it all. Everyone calls me wicked. If you think I'm wicked, then I'm gonna fucking be the wickedest wicked witch who ever was wicked. That's how the note should have been read initially.
Fuck it all. Fuck it all. I changed the key just a bit.
We then see a scene with an angry mob that has assembled, crying to kill the wicked witch. Tin Man is the ringleader of this angry mob, and he has the grown-up lion cub from earlier that was in the cage at the shiz school, who is all grown up to be the Cowardly Lion. And I guess he wants revenge for being rescued and not being allowed to fight his own battles, and that's why he's cowardly. That part was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
So that just...
It was.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Elfie is yelling at Dorothy in the dungeon, telling her to take off those shoes if she ever wants to see her aunt and uncle again. Glinda then comes down, demanding that Elfie release the girl and her dog. Elfie is like, no, I will never stop, right up until she's handed a note from one of the flying monkeys, and the note says that she's seen Fiyero for the last time. Elfie then pretty much loses her will to live and bequeaths the Book of Spells to Glinda, and the two have their parting farewell song. But I will say, like, when the scene goes to Elphaba yelling down into like the dungeon at Dorothy about who wears a dead woman's who steals a dead woman's shoes?
Were you raised in a
Were
barn?
you raised in a barn? It's like there's little bits of just funny dialogue.
Release that girl and her little dog Dodo.
Toto. Elfie hides Glinda while she does battle with the angry mob who have broken into the castle. We see the shadows of combat and Dorothy throwing water on Elfie. She melts and dies, and one of the monkeys hands Glinda Elfie's green bottle. Did we talk about the green bottle earlier? I don't remember.
I don't know if we... I don't think we did.
I don't think we did. In the scene earlier when they're at the Shiz school and Elfie and Glinda become friends for the first time and they're like, let's tell each other secrets. Glinda's like, well, why do you keep this bottle under your pillow? And she holds up this little green vial and Elfie loses her shit for a little bit. It's like, give it back! And takes it and she's like, it was my mother's. It's all I have left of her.
And later in the Emerald City, the wizard
we'll talk about
Well, no, I meant like before this.
I guess you're like the wizard. Wizard offers her a drink.
Yeah, he offers her a drink. I was trying to just give context.
Sorry. But that, because I couldn't remember if we touched on the bottle, but that's all that's left, and the monkey hands this green bottle, which was a cherished possession of Elphaba's. And yeah, so the monkey hands it to Glinda, who takes the bottle to the wizard. And shows it to him, saying, this was Elfie's, and she got it from her mother. I've only ever seen one like it, in this very room, when you, the wizard, offered me a drink from it. We then get the revelation that Elphaba was the wizard's daughter, which is why she was so powerful. She was a child of two worlds.
2 different worlds, never meant to meet. The peasants labor, the granome eat.
Once on this island?
Once on this island.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll get to that one eventually. Glinda has had enough of this shit fuckery and tells the wizard he has to leave Oz forever. She'll make the announcement to the people, but he better leave now. Glinda also tells the shitstress that she's going to prison and has the guards haul her ass off. When we see the Scarecrow for the first time, as he knocks on a trap door, and Elfie pops out. It turns out the water doesn't do jack shit to her, and she faked her own death. Scare Fiero and Elfie Witch decide that they are going to live happily ever after, in secret, and that no one can know that she is alive in order for them to both be able to live in safety. Glinda gives a speech to the masses, basically saying that they have been, that things have been bad in Oz, and that she's going to do her best to live up to her name of Glinda the Good. We see a crystal ball and get an image of Scare Fiero and Elfie Witch snuggling, and they appear to be living happily ever after. And then it ends.
God, I wish the book ended that way.
And it's this show goes really fast. Like it's kind of funny because like you get the earlier parts where they're at school and stuff. Like those parts and stuff are definitely good, even if there's parts that just annoy the piss out of me because it's high school drama more or less. And then when they do like the Wizard of Oz part, it is like super quick. It is it kind of reminds me a little bit of stuff like Death Note, where you have like the beginning part which is a little bit longer, and then it's almost like the show is like, oh, that's right, we have to wrap stuff up, and then they just kind of squish it into like 30 minutes to condense the ending. But yeah, Glinda sucks the entire show right up until the very end. When she's like, when she tells, basically when she thinks that Elphaba's dead, and then that's when Glinda stops being Glinda and becomes the Good Witch. And I love when she, she tells the wizard off, and then I love when she tells the shitstress off, because like she uses a line that the shitstress used on her with the whole when she first gave her the wand, and she's like, Elphaba told me that she wants you in the sorcery classes, but I don't think you have what it takes to be a sorceress. I hope you'll prove me wrong. but I know you won't.
Yeah.
And then Glenda uses that line against the shitstress and says, how do you think you would fare in prison, kind of thing. And she's like, I don't think you have what it takes. And but I hope that I'm wrong. And they're like, guards, take her away.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And what makes me laugh about that part too is that it makes the shitstress laugh. That she's like, ha ha ha, you used my own joke against me, and now I'm going to prison.
You know, I think the entirety of Oz, save for Elphaba, all had the idiot ball.
Yeah, it's a really
like, there's
weird
a lot
world.
of idiot ball in there. Like, even for Oz, there's a lot of idiot ball.
There's a lot of weird stuff in the show just from a story standpoint. And I'm sure it would be more illuminating if I read the book, but just knowing how fucked up and dark and depressing it is, I'm like, I don't think I want to do that to myself.
Yeah.
But I like the show.
I'm glad.
I did not like it as much as The Wiz. Because I still think out of all the Wizard of Oz versions, the 2015 Broadway version of The Wiz that we saw is my favorite.
Absolutely.
Probably followed by... I don't know, because the original Wizard of Oz is, a quote-unquote classic, even though... I mean, I don't hate it, but it's
safe.
It's safe. It's very average for me, granted, but it is a much older movie.
Yeah.
So, it's got that aspect about it. I would say I probably liked Wicked more than the Wiz movie, but there are things about Wicked that bug me more than the Wiz movie.
If we were to do a tier zoo ranking, you'd have The Wiz 2015 at S tier, and then The Wiz movie and Wicked. Would they share B or A?
They'd probably share B.
B tier.
Because I don't know. Because Wicked has... See, and this is where I get into it, because then it's like, I focus sometimes too much on some of the story stuff, and...
That's fair to do.
But I forget that the music is really good, and that needs to be taken in consideration too. I don't know. So when it comes to everything, because I know for sure that for me, Wiz is right up at top, and then everything else is just kind of this amalgam, this amalgam that's beneath the Wiz. So, but Wicked had some really good stuff. I think one of the reasons that Wicked kind of bothered me a bit was Glenda. Because she's so fucking annoying for most of the show, and you just want to slap her. You just want to.
Oh
slap
my god! Well, there are so many scenes too where, because your sister watched it.
Fiero
with us.
too. I want to slap the shit out of
Yeah,
Fiero.
your sister watched this with us, and I was just leaning over to her, just going, "Doesn't this remind you of every single straight white girl when we were in high school? Just like, I'm gonna rub my butt up on you, but I'm not gay."
She does that.
She does.
She
and it's
does
like, mixed signals, lady.
The art direction in Wicked was really good, though.
I like the art
costumes.
direction for it, save for the Hammerheads.
Oh yeah.
Save for them, the art direction is really amazing, and I think that is because they reference so heavily on the art from the original books.
That's fair. I would say the Tin Man looked an awful lot like the classic Tin Man from the 1939 film. We don't really see the lion at all except for his tail, because he's like off to the side and Tin Man's pulling his tail, and that's all we see of the lion. Scarecrow didn't look bad, but he also looked very much like classic Scarecrow. But yeah, I thought about doing it today at work, but I was listening to an audiobook instead. But I do need to listen.
Okay.
I do need to listen to the Wicked soundtrack, because there are some songs in there that I'm like, I need to listen to those again.
Yeah, it's a good soundtrack. It's, again, Stephen motherfucking Schwartz. He knocks it out of the park again, because he's fucking amazing.
You know, and it is cool to see the story from a different perspective that kind of puts it in a different light. And Yeah, it's. I don't know how to word.
I feel like, especially for stage, and I would say for movie, if they just try to keep Wicked, when they do the movie adaptation, just straight, like, play it straight from the musical.
Don't do a Wiz movie version of the Wiz.
Well, more don't do darker and edgier of Wicked, because it's already dark.
Yeah, it's already got plenty of dark edge to it.
Yeah, and the musical is so good because it balances it out. They try to balance out the dark because the book gets dark.
Yeah.
And you gotta sort of judge your audience. If people know Wicked the musical over Wicked the book, and you're trying to adapt Wicked the musical to film, just adapt Wicked the musical to film. Don't try to make it any darker than it already is, because it's already dark enough.
It's already plenty dark. I agree with that.
And especially because, like, it's like what I was talking about last week with The Wiz. They managed to balance out that sort of dystopian feel with it by still making it upbeat in points.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you've gotta, because it's Oz. At its heart, it's Oz, and at its heart, Oz is upbeat. Even if it's not an ideal place, even if it's not really a utopia and there's issues in Oz, they still keep it at this level of upbeatness. And so that's what Wicked does well, is you have a lot of down moments, but the upbeat moments are really upbeat and really colorful and really happy and really Ozian.
Oh, definitely.
And that's why any of the scenes in Emerald City, even if it's shitty, it's still bright and colorful. And so that kind of balances out the fact that things are terrible and unequal and stuff.
And there definitely there was more. At least I thought. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I did feel like that there was more social commentary in the Wicked versus any other version of it, because you have this very established class system and a lot of like very overt racism going on. I guess this would be speciesist or something like that.
Yeah, and they go into it a little bit more in the book, where it is more of a race allegory than a species allegory, because they're talking about, the animals are closer to the humanoid characters than we originally thought, and that's kind of what Dr. Dillamond is trying to show in the book, and they gloss over that here because, again, the focus wasn't on the full plot of the life and times of Elphaba. It was
the life and times of Elphaba.
It was just the focus on the friendship between Elphaba and Glinda, because when you're adapting such a big book, then you need to find a focus and zoom in on it. And so that's what they did with this. And
I do find it interesting that their friendship was built off a practical joke.
Yep.
I'm going to give you this garment that I think is incredibly ugly, and I'm going to say that it compliments you because I think you're very ugly.
Yeah.
And then you're going to take it as a compliment, and then our friendship will blossom from there forth, because you're going to then go and do a really nice thing for me.
Nah, I feel for Elphaba, man. I feel for Elphaba so much.
We're definitely meant to feel for her.
Yep.
But it'd be funny to watch the original Wizard of Oz now and just look at Elphaba from the viewpoint of Wicked and just be like, you're the real hero.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
You do that way too well. But yeah, I think Wicked is able to do that social commentary because of the standpoint that it's from, because it's not from the perspective of a 5-year-old.
Yeah, true.
And at 5, you really shouldn't be needing to deal with social commentary stuff. I mean, as we talked about in Black History Month, that's not the case for a lot of people, but it's still, for Wizard of Oz, not touching on any social commentary if you're playing Wizard of Oz straight, or if you're doing The Wiz, because The Wiz movie did more on social commentary than the Wiz stage play, and even then it was just like very light touches on it, whereas like Wicked, it's from the point of view of an adult-ass witch, so it can be social commentary.
And then with me not realizing just how late we are into March, I was about to say, so Kay, are we going to end this month on another Ozian show? But this is the last show of this month.
March. Yeah, this is the last show of March. Are you ready for what I'm going to do for you on the next episode?
Our next episode's going to fall on
April 1st. Yep, it'll fall on my late baby boy's birthday. On Kier's birthday.
And your sweet parrot boy.
Sweet little parrot boy's birthday, and it'll fall on some very good friends' birthdays too, which will be great.
So to honor your sweet baby boy who hated my guts, are you going to show me a show that would make him happy at my suffering?
Well, I don't think you're going to suffer with it.
Okay.
I think you're going to like this, actually, a lot. It's going to be... It's a jukebox musical, so, you know...
I know you're not a big fan of those.
I'm not a big fan of those, but I do like this one.
Okay. I usually... Okay, I'll be curious, because I know you don't like them normally, so if this is one that you like, then...
Oh, yeah, no, I actually really like this one a lot. It's by kind of a team of writers. It is a little poppy, so I hope that you like that, because I know that you're not a huge pop guy, but...
I mean, I like pop. I mean, I can't name...
It's like 80s pop, so... Yeah, it's late 80s pop, so... we're going to be covering Whenever You Need Somebody. And I'm really excited for this one.
So is it like a romance?
There is some romance in it. Yeah, it's kind of a shorter musical, so...
So is it the classic tale of boy meets girl and girl doesn't necessarily care for boy, and then boy tries really hard to get girl's attention?
I'm not going to give you the plot, babe. It's you'll like it. It's cute. It's a fun poppy jukebox musical from the 80s.
But you're devious, and it's April Fool's, and so I know I can't trust you.
Babe, you can trust me with anything.
The way you said that gives me concerns.
Whenever you need somebody, you can trust me.
Kay has her hand on my shoulder, and all I can think of is Into the Spider-Verse with
Hey. So yeah, next week, April 1st, we get to cover Whenever You Need Somebody. I'm excited.
Alrighty then.
So that'll be it for today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Again, I hope y'all are staying safe out there, as in staying safe in your homes. If you are working in the service industries that are the essential industries right now, please stay safe.
I hope they're treating you right.
Yeah, they better be treating you right, because y'all are heroes, man. Y'all in food service, in the warehouses, in hospitals, y'all are fucking heroes. So please be safe. Please take care of your older family members. It looks like some of the younger and healthier folks are getting susceptible to this too, so just keep an eye out. Keep yourselves safe. If you're showing symptoms, definitely self-isolate.
Wash your hands.
Yeah, wash your hands. Wash your hands religiously.
Can't believe I have to say that.
20 seconds, at least. I actually do more, but that's because I like the feel of water and stuff on my hands, and then I'm just sitting there like, this is nice, because I live in a desert.
So thank you all for listening. If you want to reach out to Kay and I, you can find links to all of our social medias at our website, which is tonedeafmusical.com. We've got our Twitters and our Instagrams and our Facebooks, as well as a link to the Cast Junkie Discord server, where we have a channel in there that is not safe for work, which you probably know by now. And, because
me. You also can get a link to our Patreon and our Coffee, we're kind of debating right now on whether or not we're gonna keep it up for an active billing cycle just because of how crazy things are for people right now.
Yeah, it might be.
I think we might, like, not make it pay right now, and then once things even out, we'll see. But yeah, because it's wild out there, man. It's wild as hell.
I hope this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience for all of us.
Yeah.
And not because we all die.
Yeah, when I was in my wanting to be an epidemiologist days as a kid, because of course I was, I thought about things like this, but now I'm living it, and I'm like, this is hell.
See, it always
This is hell.
always just makes me think about when I played, like, Plague Inc. and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, this is karma for trying to make a sneaky virus.
Well, so, like, fun tidbit before we leave. When I was in high school, so yeah, kid, we had internships, and I really wanted to do a virology one. And
Of course you did.
my mom was like, "Kay, you catch everything.
You really want to go to where they keep all of the deadly things?
Kay, you have to get a flu shot because if you get the flu, you will die." So, don't go into virology, sweetie. Go do the chemical engineering one. And I did, and I never looked back. And I never went into chemical engineering. But anyway, yeah.
Instead, you got your film degree, which inspired us to create our podcast.
Yes, it did. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening. We're gonna go pour ourselves some more tea and take a nap.
I'm gonna beat my head against the wall and hopefully try and forget the Hammerheads.
Yeah, just don't flatten your head out, because then you'll have to keep your brain in a jar like they do. Or no, their brains are in cans, that's what it is. Yeah. Oz!
Is weird!
Yes! So, that'll be it for today. Thank you all for listening. I'm Kay.
I'm Warren.
And this has been
Tone
Tone
Deaf.
Deaf. Yeah.
Try that again, Kay. This has been
Tone Deaf.
Now, the third time's the charm.
Oh god. This has been Tone Deaf.